Have you ever noticed how some people seem completely unshakable, no matter what chaos surrounds them, while others crumble at the slightest inconvenience? Imagine walking through life and encountering every challenge, not with panic or frustration, but with a calm mind, a resilient heart, and the clarity to respond deliberately rather than react instinctively. That's not luck. That's stoicism. And today, I'm going to reveal how the timeless teachings of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus can radically change the way you think, communicate, and live. But here's the twist. This isn't about reading dusty philosophy or quoting ancient wisdom. It's about applying it to your daily life, in real conversations, stressful work situations, and even the most personal relationships where emotions run high. Picture this. You're in a high-pressure meeting. Deadlines are looming, and suddenly a colleague lashes out, maybe even unfairly. Most people panic, react defensively, or lose their composure. The Stoic, however, sees opportunity in the chaos. Why? Because Stoics train themselves to distinguish what is within their control and what isn't, a lesson Epictetus hammered home centuries ago. Yet here's the secret no one tells you. Stoicism isn't just about enduring life, it's about mastering it. And mastery begins with understanding yourself. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote that the impediment to action advances action. In other words, obstacles aren't roadblocks. They are tools for growth, opportunities to strengthen character and refine judgment. Now, here's the question I want you to consider as you watch this video. How often do you truly know your triggers, your default reactions, and the patterns your mind naturally follows when under stress? By the end of this video, you won't just know, you'll have actionable strategies to anticipate your reactions, reframe challenges, and transform difficult conversations into moments of influence. And here's the part that will keep you glued to the screen. I'm going to teach you a simple yet profound mindset exercise inspired by Seneca's letters that can immediately change the way you approach conflict, criticism, and even those irritating people in your life who always push your buttons. You'll see why self-mastery isn't an abstract ideal. It's a daily practice, hidden in the smallest choices, the subtle pause before speaking, and in the deliberate management of your thoughts. But first, here's a truth most people never realize. How we communicate with others is the mirror of our internal world. Every interaction reflects our emotional state, our habits, and our control, or lack thereof, over our impulses. If you fail to understand yourself, you'll always misinterpret others. Stick with me, because by the end you'll not only have tools to decode human behavior and connect effortlessly with almost anyone, but you'll also learn to remain unshaken even in the most chaotic situations, embodying the same calm, reason-driven strength that the Stoics practiced centuries ago. And the secret twist? There's one small mental exercise that, when applied consistently, rewires your perception of people and conflict so that every conversation, even the tense, emotionally charged ones, becomes an opportunity for clarity, growth, and influence. Let me illustrate this with a story, one that shows how Stoic principles can literally transform your relationships overnight. Imagine a room full of different personalities, each with their own fears, motivations, and habitual ways of thinking. This is where Stoics excel. They understood that others act based on their understanding of the world, not ours. Marcus Aurelius would remind himself daily, "When you wake up, think of the people you will meet, the ungrateful, the arrogant, the deceitful, the envious, the unsocial. All these things happen because they do not know what is good or evil." In modern terms, picture your workplace or even your family gatherings. The person who dominates every conversation, the colleague who obsesses over details, the friend who avoids conflict at all costs, and the one who is endlessly creative and spontaneous. Each one triggers different emotional responses in you. If you react instinctively, you clash. If you observe, you respond wisely. I recall a situation with a friend who had a fiery, impulsive personality. He was intense, fast-moving, and unpredictable, like a comet streaking across the night sky. In the past, I mirrored his intensity, and every conversation ended in frustration and miscommunication. But inspired by Stoic practice, I learned to pause, observe his behavior without judgment, and respond calmly, focusing only on what I could control: my words, my tone, my composure. The result? The same person, the same fiery energy. Yet the conversation became productive, cooperative, and even enjoyable. This is the essence of Stoicism. We cannot control the actions of others, but we can master our own minds. Seneca once wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Most conflicts are fueled by imagined slights, assumptions, and projections of our own ego. By practicing careful observation and restraint, you learn to navigate these emotional waters calmly, identify the underlying motivations of those around you, and connect in ways that reduce friction instead of escalating tension. And here's the open loop to hold in your mind as you watch. Later, I'll reveal a precise technique to quickly identify anyone's communication type within minutes, allowing you to anticipate their reactions and speak in a way that resonates deeply, so that misunderstandings and unnecessary conflict vanish. It's a method drawn directly from Stoic principles, a bridge between ancient wisdom and modern human dynamics. Imagine the advantage. You walk into a meeting or social gathering and instinctively adjust your approach to fit the personality and emotional state of every person in the room. You don't just survive interactions, you influence them positively. And here's the most powerful part. This is not about manipulation. It's about understanding human nature, exercising empathy, and applying self-control. The exact practices that the Stoics mastered to remain calm, decisive, and respected in the most turbulent times of their lives. So, how do you implement this practically in your everyday life, starting today? Step 1. Pause. When someone triggers you, instead of reacting immediately, take a deep breath and observe the emotion. Ask yourself, is this within my control? Step 2. Reframe. Rather than thinking, this person is rude or unfair, shift your perspective. They are acting based on their understanding, not mine. Step 3. Respond deliberately, guided by reason rather than impulse. Marcus Aurelius called this living in accordance with nature, aligning your actions with logic, integrity, and virtue, not ego or reaction. Here's a practical exercise to make this tangible. Pick 3 people you interact with regularly, perhaps a colleague, a family member, and a friend. For each person, ask, what motivates them? What are their fears? What makes them anxious? Write down your observations. This becomes your Stoic map, a tool to anticipate behavior and interact with calm authority. The magic happens when you combine self-awareness with communication strategy. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters." Picture this. A colleague criticizes your work. Your instinct might be defensiveness or anger. Instead, pause. Reflect on their underlying motivation. Respond calmly, factually, and with empathy. Notice how the conversation shifts from confrontation to collaboration. The power here is profound. By mastering your response, you shift the emotional energy of the interaction. Now take it further. Apply this mindset to family, social interactions, and even online environments. Imagine scrolling through a heated debate on social media and not being pulled into the chaos because you see each participant as driven by their perception, fears, and biases. You become detached yet influential, observing without being reactive. Finally, integrate reflection. At the end of each day, journal your reactions. Where did you overreact? Where did you remain calm? Which patterns repeat? This is your daily Stoic gym, where patience, clarity, and self-control are strengthened over time. And here's the suspenseful question that keeps this loop going. Once you master this, how does your world change? Does conflict shrink? Do relationships improve? Do you gain influence without aggression? The answer is yes, but only if you practice consistently. These techniques are not theoretical. They are applied stoicism, tested and proven, and they can transform ordinary life into a life of mastery, influence, and inner calm. Here's the ultimate insight. Mastery is about adaptation, not abandoning your essence. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that life is short, and the obstacle itself is the way. When you encounter difficult people or challenging situations, it is not a curse. It is your classroom. Recognize that there are different communication styles. The bold, results-driven personalities, the creative and enthusiastic thinkers, the calm and steady peacemakers, and the analytical, detail-oriented minds. Learning to navigate each style is not manipulation. It is practical wisdom, what Seneca called the art of living rightly. Here's your actionable framework. With dominant, results-driven individuals, communicate concisely, decisively, and with clarity. With playful, creative thinkers, bring energy, stories, and enthusiasm. With calm, peace-seeking individuals, be patient, supportive, and clear. And with detail-oriented, analytical minds, present facts, structure, and thorough preparation. This transforms ordinary communication into influence without conflict. Imagine walking into a meeting, a family gathering, or even a crowded social space, and effortlessly connecting with everyone because you speak their language and master your own. That is Stoic power in action. The final open loop closes here. By learning these techniques, you not only reduce conflict, but you inspire trust, foster respect, and elevate the energy of those around you. You don't just survive life, you guide it. Your choices, your words, and your reactions become tools of influence. Combine this with daily reflection, journaling, and deliberate practice of self-discipline, and the transformation is undeniable. Start today. Identify your triggers, study those around you, and respond with intention. Become the master of your mind, the observer of life, and the person who turns obstacles into opportunities. And if you want to, dive deeper into practical stoicism, actionable exercises, and mindset hacks to dominate your inner world. Watch the next video right here. Don't just learn philosophy, live it, apply it, and become unshakable. The question remains, will you let circumstances control you, or will you become the captain of your mind, navigating life with calm, clarity, and unstoppable purpose? Remember, every obstacle is a teacher, every challenge a doorway, and every reaction a choice. The Stoic path isn't passive, it is deliberate, empowering, and endlessly rewarding. Take control. Step into mastery. Transform your life.